Hello, welcome back. It's been a while, but I wanted to get back at it. I've been busy with work, but I had a request for this tune, and so I learned it, and it's really fun to play. As a fiddle player, it's pretty addictive to play. It was written by Bill Monroe. It's a really fun bluegrass tune. It's in the key of E, and there are 3 parts. So I'm going to go over each part, the melody and the chords, and then after that I'll also go over some ideas for licks and variations, double stops, all that jazz. The version that I'm playing is mostly inspired by Michael Cleveland, but I also listened to a bunch of other recordings, Jimmy Campbell, Tater Tate on the Bill Monroe recording. There's a bunch of great ones out there, so make it your own, but this is mostly based on Michael Cleveland's version. So let's get started. First I'll go over the melody for the A part. This has 8 bars, and the whole section is repeated. So here's the melody. We're gonna slide into this 4th finger E drone, and it takes up a whole measure, so it's a whole note. And then the next measure, we're gonna slide into a G sharp and do a little lick going down, all 8th notes. Let me do that one more time slowly. So those 2 measures together. Notice I'm putting a little bit of swing in there, so it's not straight. It's a little swung. So those are the first 2 bars. The 3rd bar has this fun string crossing little thing that is all over this tune. Let me do that again. So that's a slide into a G sharp. You can hear that a lot in this tune as well. So all 3 measures sounds like this. And then the 4th measure is, let me do that again. So let's put that all together. So those slides are pretty important in this tune. And that's half of the A part. The second half kind of repeats. The only thing that's different is the ending. So the phrase ends differently. So we have those first 3 measures again. And then it ends, the last measure is. Let me do that all one more time. So let me play that whole A part for you once slowly. And like I said, that you would play that all again, so the A part repeats. So now I'm gonna go over the chords. It's mostly E, and there's some quick D's thrown in there. So it's E for 3.5 bars. And it lands on a D at the end of that first phrase. And then it's E for 3 bars. D, E. So it just has that D, E at the end. So instead of ending on a D like the first phrase, it does a quick D and then ends on an E. So let me do that one more time. Ya ya da 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 dee da 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 da. Ya ya da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. So those are the chords for the A part. After I go through all the sections, then I'll go back and talk about some other ideas for licks for that part, but let me just go on to the B part for now. So the B part's also 8 measures long, but it does not repeat, so you only play it through one time. And the main melody, so it starts on a D. So that's 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2 measures. And then the next bar is, or that's the next 2 bars. So that was a slide down. So altogether that's, or something like that. So we have that slide down, and then that slide down as well. So that's the first 4 measures of the B part. Then it does this again, but it has a little tag at the end that's going into the next bar. So, and then the last bar is, the last 2 bars is, I'll do that slow. So we have that slide down. So all together that's, so let me play that whole B part melody. And you can either hold that 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could go 2, 3, 4, and come in on the next part. But so now let me just talk through the chords for the B part. It's gonna start on a D, D for 2 bars, so, and then E for 2 bars, then D for 2 bars, and then it ends on the 5, which is a B, B for 2 bars. So D, E, D, B. Let me sing through it once. So da, 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 da. Sorry, it's the wrong notes, but anyway, you get the idea. I can't sing and do that at the same time, but so that is the B part. Now for the C part, let me go over the melody. So the melody is also basically 8 bars long, and it is repeated. Kind of ends a little bit differently each phrase if you want. It doesn't have to, but this is the melody for the C part. Has this string crossing thing that you might remember from the A part. And then you would repeat that. But let me break it down. So the first 2 measures, and then it kind of sort of repeats that. Just doing 2 quarter notes at the end instead of. And I'm just going. And then after that, it kind of repeats. So it does this phrase, these two measures, 3 times basically. And then that last time I do 4/8 notes. So let me play all of that. And then the last 2 bars is so the main thing to think about for this part is, you know, getting those slides. And then these string crossings, you know, just not moving your bow too much. So small bows. Then that whole A part repeats. So you'd play that whole thing twice. And the chords for this part, the same chords that we've used so far are E, D, and B. So the 1, the 7, and the 5. But let me talk through how they go in this. So it's E for 1.5 bars, and then you land on a D. So it's like da 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 D da 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 D. So E, D, and we actually do that 3 times. So. And then the end of the phrase is 1 bar of E, half a bar of B, and then ending on an E. So just a little 1-5-1. So E, E, B, E at the end. And that's all the chords for the C part. So now that we know the melody and the chords for all of the different sections, I'm going to talk about some other stuff you can do, more double stops, some licks that I like to do, and that kind of stuff. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to work backwards, starting with the C part. Here are some double stops that you can throw in. So instead of just playing these as single notes, you could actually have both those notes down and letting your 1 touch both of those notes. That's a double stop. There you can touch both open D and A. You could also, so after, you could leave your 1 down on the A string and have that 3rd on that note. So those are some double stops that you can use in this C part. A few licks that I stole from Michael Cleveland in this part. So after you do that whole repeated part, instead of just ending, you can do a little lick, kind of bluesy, pentatonic-y lick. So instead of, we're gonna go. So another thing that he does is at the end, so the second time through, that was the first time through the C part. Now for the second time through, he does this which is really fun. So we're sliding down on our fourth finger 3 times, and then up on our second finger. So that gives it a real bluesy feel. That's a fun lick that you can use in a lot of different ways in a lot of different places. So in context, that would be... just a kind of a fun way to end the phrase. Another thing that I think I heard him doing there, it's just slightly different notes, but a similar idea, but it sounds pretty over the chords. So instead of, we're gonna go, so it's on an A. And you might notice I'm swinging it and also sometimes doing like 2 slurred and 2 separate for the bowing. So in context, that would sound like this. And that's just another way you could end it. So for this C part, I mostly stick to the melody, you know, because that part is just so fun, that whole bowing thing. And then it's mostly the little tags at the end that I'll do something different over. For example, you could also, either time, the first or the second time, you could do some triplet-y thing, like... You could slur it or do it separate, whatever you want. It's just kind of a little run. In context would sound like... So just a different way to end it in the phrase. But those are just some ideas for the C part. Let's go backwards to the... Oh, and you can also kind of change up, you know, the rhythm, do a little bit more syncopated stuff. You know, that kind of thing. Changing up the rhythm, but maybe keeping the notes mostly the same. So back to the B part. Some double stops that you can use. So instead of just playing, could have your second finger on the D string. And I'm still sliding with that 4 down. And down to... And then for the next, you could do open E. And land on that 1-1. Something like that. For the next one, you could do... And then... There you could also do 1-1. So lots of fifths and thirds. Let me try that one more time. Something like that. You could also do different double stops, like maybe add the 7th in there. So on that first chord, I like to play an F sharp, and then the 7th of a D arpeggio. The major 7th is C sharp. So I like the way that sounds over the chord. And landing on, it's just a different octave from. that's over the D chord at the beginning. And then here you could do a fifth, like, and you could end on a different note. So instead of, it's just ending a little lower and playing this fifth. And then you're back to. So those are some ideas for double stops. You could also do other things over those chords, maybe some arpeggios, like over the, maybe the second time you play that D chord, do something like, which is just a D major arpeggio, but just kind of a waterfall effect going down. And then back to that. So that's just an idea. You could also do something different over that B chord at the end, like instead of, you can do something, I don't know, something there. So let me play that whole B part. And also one thing to note, you can come in a beat early for this C part if you want. So like 2, 3. That's just a note. But those are some ideas for the B part. Now let's go back to the A part. I feel like this is the part where there's the most room for random improv or licks, just because it stays on that E chord for so long. You can kind of use the major or minor E pentatonic blues scale, or you don't even really have to think of that. You can just think of these bluesy notes, which are G to G sharp, and also B to B flat. If you use those notes in your licks, then it will sound more bluesy and stuff. So you can kind of think of that if you want. Stuff like that. So slides and using that minor third and minor fifth slides. But let me just talk through a few things that I like to do there. That's a double stop, so instead of, you could go in third position, that fifth, something, you know. You could also do a G sharp. You know, so you could do a different double stop there at the beginning. That's another one. So those are some options. What I like to do is so kind of doing some of those bluesy notes and then landing on the D. So when I'm kind of noodling around or playing licks, improvising, having a place to land really helps me not get lost. Like I know I need to land on a D or a note that works there in the D chord. So that's what I'm thinking about if I'm doing something. So I'm landing on that D chord. And then maybe the second phrase. And then just knowing I can go back to the melody at any time helps me not get lost. So did a lick for a couple measures and then back to. So that was, I think I was. together, it's... Forgot what I was gonna do. But that's just an idea inspired by Michael Cleveland. Another thing you could do, I think this one was from the Jimmy Campbell recording. He does this thing on his second break, I think, where it's like... something like that, where he kind of does these trills. It's just kind of an E minor, pentatonic-y, or E minor arpeggio lick with trills. Something like that. It's pretty fun. Sounds better when there's a band or a accompaniment going. I always feel weird playing this one by myself without any rhythm, but yeah, so those are some ideas for licks and coming up with your own variation on this tune. But, you know, listening to a bunch of different recordings is the way to go, and just kind of messing around. I couldn't find a backing track for this one. I'm sure that one exists somewhere, but maybe just playing along with the recording. So this is a really fun tune. I'm so happy that someone requested it and that I learned it. If you have any questions, write them in the comments. If I can clarify anything, or yeah, if there's anything you want me to go over more in depth, just let me know. I hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.